Hello, my name's Ryan and I'm a naturalist here at Succop Nature Park. This is one of Audubon's holdings. It's smaller than some of our others, but we are open dawn to dusk 7 days a week, and you can come and walk our trails. You can bring your kids to our nature play area. You can have a picnic. One of the reasons you should come here is because we have a lot of trees. That's one of our draws. We have almost 100 different species of trees here. This one that's behind me is a cypress tree. Now this isn't native to Pennsylvania. It's more of a southerly adapted tree, but this is one of the specimens that the family that lived here before brought in. So behind me is a bald cypress. This is a type of tree that we don't find in Pennsylvania. It's more of a southern species. But this specimen is growing quite well. If we look all over the ground, we can see that there are old leaves from the cypress tree. So a cypress is a deciduous tree, but another cool feature that cypress trees exhibit are knees. So next I'm going to show you some of these knees. These are roots that curl up out of the ground, and then we'll do a little exploration to see exactly why that is. So here we can see some of the cypress knees. There's a lot of them. It almost looks like a gnome forest out here. But these are the roots that come up out of the ground. So these are a part of that cypress tree, and there's a lot of them here. Now down south, some of these come up out of the water 3 or 4 feet even. So if you come out by a small pond, you can come and visit these cypress trees and check them out. They're going to look a lot different in the summertime than they do right now though. So here's a black gum tree. Again, a tree you don't find very often in western Pennsylvania or at the northern part of its range. Its scientific name is Nyssa sylvatica, and it has branches, sometimes especially, maybe it might be hard to see on this smaller sapling, but branches tend to come out almost 90 degrees from the trunk. And so that's one of those indicators you can look at a distance to get you, get you at least in the ballpark if you're looking for this type of tree. Sometimes people might mistake this tree for a sassafras. When they're young, they tend to have a wavy trunk like this. So luckily there's a sassafras right here. And when the weather warms up, we'll come back and visit these trees and we can see what they look like whenever they have their leaves out. But here is a sassafras tree. And again, it's in the mid-story. But it doesn't have those 90-degree branches that come out. Sassafras has very unique leaves. You can find them that look like a palm, like a mitten, and like a trident on the same tree. But let's take a look at the bark of the sassafras versus our black gum. They're similar, but the pattern on the black gum is a little bit tighter than it is on the sassafras. There's some seed pods from the birch tree. I'm just going to reach up and grab one of these and we can investigate it. There we go. So you might be familiar with birch trees. Here we have a gray birch right behind me. Has white bark. Here, it's what the seed pods look like. Finches love to eat these. But whenever a finch comes in and takes a bite, a bunch of seeds fall off. So you can see in my hand here, I have like a forest full of seeds. And there's plenty of these still on the trees here in mid-February. So that shows that these trees are providing food for birds well into the winter. Birches are more of a northerly adapted tree, and at our latitude they tend to get fungal infections. So as we walk around, I'm looking for signs that a tree might have a fungal infection on it. Oh, there's one. There's the fruiting body of a mushroom. You can already see that this birch tree is rotted from the inside out. So they're not super long lived around here, but we have a lot of them here at the nature park. They're basically all the way around us. This is a red twig dogwood. I think you can see why they call it that. The new growth is a reddish color. And one of the morphological identification characteristics of this tree is that it has opposite branching. whereas one branch comes off directly opposite. And if we look, oh, there it is again, right there. So we can see this branching pattern. So dogwoods have opposite branching, and I see some more dogwoods right over here. So we have a red twig dogwood, but I also see some gray dogwood over here. And this is just about as big as gray dogwood get. It doesn't get much bigger than this, and it tends to grow in clumps. But again, if we look, it has that opposite branching pattern. So it's one of those defining characteristics of it. Now this one is important for birds. It's wonderful in early successional field habitat as nesting sites. Whenever this is covered in leaves, you could have a nest in the middle there, and it would be protected from predators noticing it. But there are also berries that are a high value food source. So whenever I go out and I look at potential food sources for birds, the ones that disappear the quickest, that gives me an indication that's a high value food source. So I can see the area here where there were some berries, but that was picked completely clean back in the fall. Oh, there's another dogwood species right over here. This one might even be in yards in your neighborhood. This is a flowering dogwood. It's a little bit bigger. It's not going to get too huge. But at this time of year in winter, we see that its buds has these small onion-shaped buds. And that has protective scales that once the weather warms up, that will be one of the flowers. But because it's a dogwood, just like the other ones, if we can find an example, there we go. That opposite branching right there, right here, and that pattern is repeated throughout on this tree. So there's 3 species of dogwoods literally within 50 feet of each other. Here's one of my favorite trees at the nature park. This is a pecan tree. You might think it's Western Pennsylvania. Aren't pecans a southern thing? Yeah, you can find a lot of pecan trees in the south, but a pecan is a type of hickory. It's in the genus Caria, and this scientific name of the pecan tree is Caria illinois. So we find we could think of it more as a Midwest to southern tree. We have a specimen here, and there's another one behind it. Now these were probably planted by the family that lived here, but again, this is one of those interesting trees that we can see here at Succop Nature Park.